Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you may be viewing this telecast. Channel 22, Lawndale Community Cable presents Losinger Olympians basketball. This is the CIF Ocean League High School basketball game between the visiting Morning High Monarchs and the Losinger High School Olympians, being played here at Losinger High School in Lawndale, California. Well, this is Dave Marks, and I'll be bringing you here the action from side court tonight. Losinger is in the home white, Morningside in the dark uniforms. Losinger will jump at the basket to your left, Morningside to your right. Referee getting in there between Willie Calloway and the opposing center. And this one will be underway momentarily. And our 2004 basketball season has begun on Channel 22 with Losinger controlling the basketball. D'Angelo Johnson having it tipped away. And we will get a holding foul on Kevin Hibbert there on the first play of the ball game. So the starting lineup for the Losinger Olympians, D'Angelo Johnson in the backcourt, and they're basically all guards. Russell Westbrook, Patrick Cleveland, David Kane, and Willie Calloway will be the starting center. And for Morningside, we'll get their starters. As the pass in deep is blocked by Calloway. Rebound effort no good. Calloway fighting for the rebound. And the Olympians have the basketball. Look to push it. Push it back out to Kane. D'Angelo Johnson. Morningside in the zone on the right to Westbrook. There's Cleveland, doesn't have a shot. And that ball's knocked out of bounds. Knocked out, 15 seconds on the shot clock. And we are just underway here, quarter number one. D'Angelo Johnson in the backcourt for Losinger. That's Westbrook. And Kane with a bucket. And Kane's got the first points of the night. Losinger with the 2-zip lead. Eric Moss, Kevin Hibbert in the backcourt for Morningside. Funaki Matiaki up front, along with Randy Nettles and Kenwood Romero. This is Hibbert with it. Hibbert with the body. No call, no bucket. Losinger with numbers. And they make it count. Patrick Cleveland with a bucket, 4-0 in favor of the Olympians. Ball tipped away, Losinger's got it again. Down the middle and the reverse, up and good by David Kane. Good passing that time. And it's 6-0 Losinger. Morningside wants to take a timeout. It'll be a 20-second timeout. 6:23 to go in quarter number one. Losinger with the early 6-0 lead. Losinger head coach. Take a look at him right there. Reggie Morris in his second year. Reggie Morris taking this program deep into CIF Southern Section postseason last year. Losing to Silverado way out on the other side of the I-15 last year. And for those of you who follow Losinger basketball here on Channel 22, you know they were one win away from reaching the finals in their division in the CIF Southern Section, one win away from the Arrowhead Pond. And it was a very close 4-point loss. This is a new year, different look for these Olympians. Without Dorrell Wright, who has gone on, graduated, on to bigger and better things. Here's a three-point attempt, up no good by Morningside. Rebound, and that's up and in off the hard body of Funaki Matiaki. He's a junior, and he's got the first points, and now commits the foul down the other end. It's Matiaki, 6-foot junior. Plays a tough game for the Morningside Monarchs out of Inglewood. We're talking about Dorrell Wright for those of you who followed this program. You know he was an incredible player last year. That was one of the reasons why the Losinger Olympians were able to go deep in the postseason. Well, he is now at a prep school in Connecticut, and he has signed a letter of intent to play for DePaul. So we wish him the best of luck in his future endeavors. As there's a little inside shot by Willie Calloway. Willie Calloway. As they put the points on the wrong side of the scoreboard, it should be 8-2. They'll get that corrected in a second. Contact down at the other end. 5:51 to go. And it'll be a foul going against the Losinger Olympians. Looked like Willie Calloway picked up that foul. So this is going to put Eric Moss on the free throw line, the junior. And we were talking about Dorrell Wright a second ago. Dorrell Wright, also a good baseball player, as some of you know, who watched some of our baseball telecasts here in the spring. And there was a choice as to whether he was going to go on and play baseball or basketball, perhaps be another Dontrell Willis. But he chose to go the hoop way, and that's his choice. He will stick with it. Wish him the best of luck. And a rebound put up and in on a couple attempts there. That's Eric Moss. Come the other way. Shot blocked. Clean block. Morningside three-point attempt. That's no good. Correct score should be 8-5, I believe. Here's a three-pointer by Westbrook. Nothing going that time. 5:10 to go in quarter number one. Randy Nettles. Good interior pass, and looks like hand of Willie Calloway got in there that time. And we've gotten the officials timeout because they are going to check the score. Scoreboard has 8-2, and I believe this, now they're putting up 10-2, so you see Coach Reggie Morris concerned about it. Now they're making it 10-5. Now they've changed it to 8-5. I believe they do have it right. That's what we've got in our official book. Here it's, well, we don't have the official book. We've got our Channel 22 book. The official book is on the other side, and now they've gotten it straightened out. 4:55 to go, quarter number one. 8-5 in favor of the Losinger Olympians, and they will put the ball back in play. Losinger Olympians 9-7 overall. This is their first Ocean League game, but they are 2-2 in the Cross League, and I'll have to explain that one to you in a second. Shot no good, follow-up no good. One time, second time. Losinger able to retain it. Got a new shot clock. From the lane, it's up and in. David Kane with 6 points. Pace Losinger. It's Randy Nettles. Romero, ball out of bounds. And Losinger will get the substitution into the ball game. They'll be bringing in Ron Harris. He comes in for Willie Calloway. Harris, 6'1" senior. First sub of the night. Open look, open shot, it's an air ball. Kane with a rebound. And the bucket on the pass off to Russell Westbrook, the sophomore. It's 12-5, Losinger. Come the other way, that'll be a blocking foul. Kenward Romero on the trip down court. And he will draw the trip to the free throw line. So Romero, the guard. Losinger Olympians 9-7 overall. Cross League, what we were mentioning a second ago, means that they are going to count games as league games that you play against another league. Now, I don't want to start sounding like Yogi Berra here because it does get a little, someone said earlier tonight that it's almost like trying to understand the BCS situation. And I know a lot of people here in this part of the country are not too happy with the BCS setup. But this whole business of the cross league play, basically it means that some teams that you play in a designated league, games that you win or lose will count as wins and losses for your league, which means it affects who gets to the postseason or not. So it's almost like a BCS situation, a little bit confusing. And with that in mind, the Losinger Olympians are 2-2, and their cross-league opponents have been from the Bay League. They lost to Redondo and Mira Costa. Rather, they beat Redondo and Mira Costa and lost to Inglewood and Compton Centennial. So this is their first Ocean League game. But overall, as far as games for the playoffs, they're 2-2, even though they have not played a league game yet. And there'll be a quiz on that in another 10 minutes. But with 3:55 to go right here, it's 12-7 in favor of Losinger. As I said, it's Morningside head coach Carl Franklin. His wife said, she was the one that said it's almost like trying to understand the whole BCS computer situation. And the people at Morningside have reason to say that. And I'll tell you why. As Moss goes to the free throw line hitting his first. Morningside Monarchs come in at 0-12 overall. This is their first Ocean League game, but in their cross-league play, they are 0-4. Now, you know what that's going to do to their prospects for postseason. Their chances for making the postseason may be sunk, and they have yet to even play an Ocean League game. So that's why they feel that this cross-league business is about as confusing as the whole BCS situation was to college football this year. And you can understand that from their perspective. That's Jamel Tolliver on the miss. Randy Nettles from Morningside. .320 to go, quarter number one. Nettles with a nice spin, and he's able to finish. Randy Nettles with a good move. And we got a one-point ball game. Lusinger has led all of the way. Morningside with a couple of substitutions, and they're hanging in this one. Kane from the lane. He's got the bounds. And this time Kane was fouled for getting the pass from Ron Harris. So David Kane, the senior, going to the free throw line. And it's a two-shot situation. Oh, well, I think it's going to be side out. Yes, it will be side out. Referees in tonight's game, Michael Barnes and Edward James. Lusinger basketball. That's Chris Jackson who's checked in the ball game. It's Kane. And a shot swatted away. Not blocked by Omar Lovejoy. 10 seconds on the shot clock, and Lusinger loses the ball out of bounds. So credit Omar Lovejoy of Morningside, 6'4" senior. He is perhaps the only legitimate big body on the floor for Morningside. And their head coach, Carl Franklin, said they like to try to get the ball into him if they are patient. And for them to have any success and win their first game on this season, he's going to have to be a factor at some point tonight. Well, for the Lusinger Olympians, they bring Kelsey Bars into the ball game. And we'll talk about Kelsey Bars in a second. It's Joshua Gordon for Morningside. Battle underneath. And it's into the row of cheerleaders at side court. About 2 minutes to go in this quarter. And we've got a timeout taken on the court. 2:03 to go. Quarter number one. Lusinger Olympians 12, Morningside Monarchs 11. Well, this is the first of a few telecasts that you will see here on Lawndale Community Cable, Channel 22 this year. You can see these ball games in the city of Lawndale and the city of Hawthorne. And speaking of Hawthorne, we will be doing some Hawthorne basketball games, of course, before this season is over. Hawthorne Cougars expected to have a decent season. And you'll get a chance to see them as the season progresses. But tonight you're getting a chance to see the Lusinger Olympians. Morningside ball following the timeout. Referee telling Chris Jackson, give Brandon Gray a little space. That's Nettles with it, guarded by Sheldon Wilson, who's checked in. For both coaches using quite a few players in the first 8 minutes of play here. And a little scoop by Kevin Hibbert, won't go. He's fouled on the way to the bucket. Looks like Ron Harris picked up that foul. Well, the Morningside Monarchs, a team that figures to give Lusinger some trouble. As you see that last possession, They're athletic, and they know pretty much that they've got to win from here on out. Got no margin for error. And their coach, Carl Franklin, feels that the philosophy is simply that all they need to get a spark is for one player to be motivated. Even at 0-12 overall, it just takes one person on the team he feels to be motivated. And the team can light a spark from the motivation of that player. Here they're going to get an easy bucket. And here they are going to take a lead, 14-12. 1:40 to go. Foul in the backcourt. So a lot of subs in this first quarter. And Morningside, who got down early, they've got a lead. And it's these reserve players that have done the job. Of course, backed up by Omar Lovejoy in the middle. Lusinger with the basketball. Ron Harris has it. That's out of bounds on a turnover. So a little sloppy play here for the Lusinger Olympians as this quarter winds down. Quarter started quickly and kind of slowed up a little bit. Morningside with the ball. That's Hibbert. Pass underneath. Shot blocked, and they call the foul. So the foul call there. And it's going to put Morningside on the line. So that time they worked it into Omar Lovejoy. And as you see, Jamel Tolliver committing the foul, a little shaken up, looked like he got hit in the face there. Referee talking to him, and he appears to be okay. So Omar Lovejoy, the senior. Good free throw touch. Lusinger is going to get Jamel Tolliver out and bring Kane back in. Perhaps trying to consider being hit in the face. Maybe that might have something to do with it. Maybe want to get him a little rest. Kane was playing well while he was out there. 1 out of 2. And on the rebound, it will be Lusinger ball. Morningside going to apply the full court pressure. It's worked. Lusinger's not been able to set up. Now they've got it in the front court. Approaching 1 minute to go in quarter number 1. And there's Kelsey Bars. First attempt no good. Second attempt, it's money. 15-14. Kelsey Bars with his first bucket of the night. From the other way, a call on the Lusinger Olympians. Kelsey Bars is a sophomore. Saw some significant action last year on the varsity. 6'6" sophomore, and he had 50 points against Venice. So as a sophomore, head coach Reggie Morris feeling he is still in development and going to get a chance to get better over the next couple of seasons. Randy Nettles on the line. Losing into the front court. Kane on the baseline. He draws contact and he's fouled. 34 and 2, 10 seconds to go in quarter number 1. So a lot of fouls committed the latter stages of this first quarter. As we mentioned, play got off to a bang. As Kane had a step. Path impeded. There's Nettles on the foul. And we'll see how David Kane, the senior, handles it from the free throw line. He retries the score. David Kane appears to be a good find for Reggie Morris. Have him listed as a guard at 6 feet. More like a small forward at this level. 1 out of 2. Kevin Hibbert being guarded by Kane. Gonna put it up, floater no good. And Lusinger's got the rebound. 17 seconds to go in the quarter. If they can get out of the backcourt, they can get the last shot. Kane passing it back out, and it's gonna be a turnover. So the Lusinger Olympians having trouble getting it into the front court and being smooth. 8.6 seconds to go in the quarter. Morningside, if they can get it over, will have the last shot. As they throw the ball right over here at our broadcast position. I don't want the last shot. I don't want it. What can I tell you? 6 and 4, 10 seconds to go. Lusinger will have it. This is Wilson. Kane from way out of state. And that's how quarter number 1 will end. End in a 15-15 tie. So through 1 here at Olympian Fieldhouse, Lawndale, California. It's the Lusinger Olympians 15, Morningside Monarchs 15. And we'd like to remind you, you are watching Channel 22 Sports. Good crowd here tonight for this ball game. They usually have nice crowds here. In the month of January, things are not as heated as they'll be next month. Just getting into league play. And the cheerleaders, I guess, have been going at it since the football season. Some of the Lusinger home crowd. You look at the Morningside bench and their coach Carl Franklin in the middle there. Carl Franklin has been at that program for 28 years. Grew up here in the Riverside area. And he's had a couple of very good teams at Morningside, Inglewood Morningside through the years. Quarter number 2 getting set to start. Morningside will have the ball. We've got a 15-all tie. Funaki Matiaki back in the ball game. Looks like he's got the mentality of a power forward. Not the shoulders of one, that's for sure. Here's a three-point attempt that won't go. Bernard Romero on the miss. Lusinger got a 2-on-1 if they can handle it, but they can't. And so Hibbert is going to throw it up court, but before he does, he'll be called for traveling. Lusinger from the front court. David Kane to trigger it in. And the Olympians will attempt to run the offense. It's Ron Harris with it, going back to D'Angelo Johnson. Kane on the wing, double team. Kelsey Bars right outside top of the key. 10 seconds to go now on the shot clock. And it'll be a three-pointer by Cleveland. That's no good. Offensive rebound, no good on the shot by Ron Harris, but he's fouled on the way up. And he will be going to the free throw line. Looks like Eric Moss committing the foul there, number 4. Here's Ron Harris. Going to shoot those 2 free throws. Ron Harris, a 6'1" senior. Lusinger got off to the early lead in quarter number 1. Morningside came back and took a 2-point lead, and we remain tied. And 2 ticks under 7 minutes to go, quarter number 2. We are still tied. Battle for that rebound. Kelsey Bars away with it. D'Angelo Johnson. And a Patrick Cleveland. There's Bars in the middle. Soft flip won't go. Well, they got it in that time. And Bars not able to connect quickly. We come the other way. And here's a little 12-footer up and in for Eric Moss. Moss has 7, and it's a 2-point Morningside lead. Kane the other way. And that'll be an offensive foul. Left his feet, didn't have position, tried to pass it off. And the offensive foul charged against David Kane. Giving the ball back now to Morningside. Well, one thing that appears to have worked for Morningside has been full court pressure. Now losing our Olympians look like they're going to try to do a little of that. They seem to be a little better at breaking the press, however. There's Moss with it. They throw it in, but to the wrong person. Fast break the other way. Westbrook lost control of the ball, and it's out of bounds. He thought it was knocked away, but referee said he lost it off his hands. Reggie Morris can't believe it, but it's a turnover. And what happened to that fluid scoring that Lusinger came out with? Here's another turnover. Little contact made, nothing called. Drive to the hoop, no good. Battle for the rebound. Bodies on the floor. Who comes away with a rock? Referees looking at each other, and they say it's Lusinger ball. So the Olympians will have it. They'll send Willie Calloway back into the ball game. And they'll now be playing with Kelsey Bars and Willie Calloway up front. A little bigger lineup right now. 5:50 to go, second quarter. Three-pointer by Cleveland, good. Patrick Cleveland, first three-pointer of the night. And Lusinger's got a 1-point lead. Little pressure, trying to make it hard for Morningside to handle the ball. Here's a three-point attempt going the other way, no good. On the rebound. The foul charged against Morningside. Looks to be Kevin Hibbert, who got called for the foul. Be losing her ball from the backcourt with Morningside attempting to press them full court. Russell Westbrook gets it in to D'Angelo Johnson. There's Cleveland with the three-pointer a second ago, not able to go. Bars, offensive rebound, and it will count, and he is fouled. So Kelsey Bars with the putback, he's got 4. He's going to the line. Fouled by Funaki Matayaki that time. Well, Kelsey Bars, we told you, a player in development. 6'6" sophomore. Has a lot of skills and still developing more, says Reggie Morris. Misses the free throw, gets it tapped back to him. Gonna try to go glass, won't hit. There's Calloway, soft one won't go. And big Omar Lovejoy has got the basketball. And before they bring it up court, we've got an issue. May have something to do with the clock. Russ Thompson talking to the referee, and see referee Michael Barnes talking to the official table. 5:07 we have on the scoreboard. 20-17 in favor of Lusinger. Kenwood Romero. Eric Moss on the baseline. It'll be a pushing foul as Kenwood Romero pushed out of bounds. Call going against Lusinger, and it looked like Kelsey Bars hit with that foul, and that appears to be number 2 for Kelsey Bars. Well, Coach Reggie Morris of Lusinger said that Kelsey Bars sometimes picks up fouls that I guess you would expect a sophomore to pick up. And that's something that will just develop, something that will improve as his play improves. Kenwood Romero on the free throw line. Four points now for Romero, all on free throws, 20-19. Lusinger with a 1-point edge. Full court pressure, Lusinger being asked to break the press. Came close to going back court that time. It's Bars with it. Three-pointer by Cleveland. Tip is up and in by Kelsey Bars. So Kelsey Bars not boxed out by Morningside. He's now got 6. Here's a shot that's blocked. Thomas Davis into the ball game. And he's hit on the wrist. Looks like Patrick Cleveland going to be called for the foul that time. Thomas Davis, plays forward or center. Right here, he's a forward, and he's on the line. He's a senior. He gets one more for the Morningside Monarchs. Morningside, under Coach Carl Franklin for 28 years, got a pretty good program. They won 1 state title. They've won 3 CIF titles during his tenure. They've had a couple of notable players come through that program. Most notably, Byron Scott and Eldon Campbell. Here's a 3-point attempt. Good. Well, they say a 2-pointer for Russell Westbrook. Had his foot on the line. 24-20. Westbrook with 4, losing her with the lead. Kevin Hibbert. No foul called. Now there will be a foul call. And it looks like they spotted Willie Calloway. Well, it's not Calloway. Actually, it's D'Angelo Johnson. They got on that foul. Timeout on the court. And it'll be a full timeout with 4:05 to go in quarter number 2. Losing Olympians 20. Losing Olympians 24. Morningside Monarchs 20. Well, while we have this opportunity, we want to take some time and offer some congratulations to, I guess we'd have to call him now, a former member of our Channel 22 sports team, Scott Goodman, who we affectionately sometimes called Jimmy Olsen, amongst other things. He has now moved on to bigger and better things. He will be completing his studies at the University of Miami. Yes, indeed, that is where he is headed. He just informed us the other day that he's on his way to the University of Miami to be a Hurricane. And he will be involved with their broadcasting efforts down there, I'm sure, doing Hurricanes football and basketball and enjoying himself. So congratulations to Scott Goodman from everyone here at Lawndale Community Cable. And our loss is going to be the University of Miami's game. And we hope he'll come back to visit. He said he would, but quite frankly, we told him once you get down there to South Florida and get into South Beach and get into that, all of that vibe, you may not want to come back. So who knows, we may have seen him for the last time, but congratulations to Scott Goodman. 4:05 to go, 24-21. Hibbert on the free throw line, hits 2 free throws, and it's a 2-point ball game in favor of the losing Olympians. Full court pressure again. This is what's works defensively. 2-on-1 for losing if they hurry. Now they'll have to set it up. Westbrook being checked by Gordon, who's checked back in the ball game. 3-pointer by Cleveland. He's beginning to get hot. He's got 2 3-pointers now for a total of 8 points. Interception by Westbrook. And it's lost on the floor. Inside's got it back. 3-pointer the other way. No good. Interception. Nettles with it. Inside coach Carl Franklin says, I want them to start shooting more threes. That attempt won't go. Miss for Joshua Gordon, but it'll be a foul charged against the losing Olympians with 3:04 to go in this second quarter. And it looked like they got D'Angelo Johnson again for the foul. That's his second personal. This will put Thomas Davis back at the stripe. That's Carl Franklin. 28 years at that school. And don't let that 0-12 record think that that represents what he has been as a coach to that program, as you see his counterpart here tonight. He has been a fine coach for 28 years. As we mentioned, anytime you can win a state championship and 3 CIFs, and you could have the likes of Byron Scott and Eldon Campbell come through your program, you're doing something right. He's having a little tough year this year, but his team is playing well tonight. They are playing well. And he wanted a good effort from them. He's getting it so far. They're only down by 4. Lusinger on the miss. Morningside with the ball. It's a 2-on-1 if they hurry. And there's Nettles with a bucket. Nettles now has 4, makes it 27-25. Full court pressure. This is what's helped Morningside most of the ball game. Lusinger in the front court. There's David Kane. Chris Jackson with it. Now in the lane. A shot by Callaway up and good. Callaway making it 29-25. Lusinger trying to apply full court pressure. It will work. Chris Jackson taking it away, but he gives it away. Coming the other way, and the bucket up and in. Eric Moss now with 9 to lead all scorers. 29-27. Whistle on the play. And we've got another issue. It is a timeout. Well, no. I don't know what they're calling. It's going to be Lusinger ball. So perhaps a little confusion at that scorer's table again with 1:51 to go. David Kane with it. Inside to Bars. That shot is knocked away. Knocked out of bounds. Looked like Omar Lovejoy got a piece of it. And that's turned around by Callaway, no good. Lusinger keeping it alive. And the shot up and in by Cleveland from the lane. He's got 10. 1:28 to go. Lusinger takes it away again. And it'll be a foul call. Chris Jackson fouled on the way up. The crowd liking Kelsey Barr's follow-up attempt, but that won't count. And it'll be a 2-shot foul for Chris Jackson. 5'9" junior. Lusinger Olympians playing in the Ocean League. Morningside also in the Ocean League. Morningside, we mentioned 0-4 in that cross-league play, losing to the Bay League teams Inglewood, Redondo, Peninsula, and Miracosta. Whereas the Lusinger Olympians went 2 for 2, beating Miracosta and Redondo, but losing to Inglewood and Compton Centennial. So that helps their postseason prospects considerably. 2 free throws for Chris Jackson. And that ball thrown away. So that time the pressure applied by the Olympians, doing what it was intended to do. Bars in the front court. And they'll let the three-pointer fly, and it's good by Chris Jackson. Chris Jackson with the 3. He's got 5. Clock stops on the blocking foul. 10-point Lusinger lead. 54 and 8/10 seconds to go. So it was 15-15 at the quarter. Lusinger with a little offensive spurt. They've had a couple of 3-point buckets in this quarter, which has helped their offensive output. And with the clock stops, Brandon Towns on the free throw line for Morningside. He gets one more. One out of two. Bars with the rebound. Kane with the ball. Kane from the lane. No good. Morningside. Little penetration and a pass off. And there's the bucket. Bucket for Brandon Towns. 35 seconds to go. Lusinger breaking the press. Callaway. Throw it back out to Patrick Cleveland. About a 1 second differential between the shot clock and the game clock. So they should get the last shot of the half. There's Kane with a jump pass. It's broken up. And underneath is Callaway and the putback. That will not count. That's going to be offensive interference. Charged against the big fella, Kelsey Bars. So the referee's waving that one off. Offensive interference. 4 and 2/10 seconds to go. Morningside with the ball. Clock winding down from half court. No good on the shot attempt. And that'll do it for the first half. One half in the books in Lawndale, California. Channel 22, score Lusinger Olympians 37, Morningside Monarchs of Inglewood 30. We'll come back with the start of the second half right after this break. Welcome back here at Lawndale. Welcome back here at Lawndale Community Cable. Channel 22, we're starting quarter number 3. 37-30 Lusinger. This is Dave Marks at side court. I'm going to bring you the second half action. Lusinger in the home white. They'll shoot at the basket to your right. Morningside defending that bucket will shoot at the basket to your left. It's D'Angelo Johnson. The Cleveland. And they go inside and not able to hit first time. Follow-up attempt is no good. Third attempt by David Kane is no good, but he's going to the free throw line. Well, what you saw there to start the second half is a rarity. If you've been with us all throughout the first half, you saw Lusinger actually in a coherent half-court set. Well, that did not happen very much in the first half due to the fact that Morningside applied a lot of full-court pressure, and it gave them a lot of problems getting the ball up court and getting into their offense. Morningside very aggressive in their half-court defense. And right here, David Kane with 2. He's got 9 points. 39-30, Lusinger led by 10. Morningside had a slim 2 3-point lead. We were tied at the quarter. Funaki Mateyaki on the miss. And contact at three-quarter court. Patrick Cleveland and Kevin Hibbert. And it's a blocking foul on Kevin Hibbert. That looks to be his third. So that'll be a consideration for Morningside coach, head coach Carl Franklin. The Morningside cheerleaders, all the way from Inglewood. Angelo Johnson and Russell Westbrook, 2 backcourt mates. Cleveland and the other guard. He had a couple of three-pointers in that second quarter. This time he's not able to mark. Funaki Mateyaki bringing it up. 3-point attempt, rimming the basket. Eric Moss with a follow. That shot was blocked that time by Callaway. Lusinger trying to come up court quickly. Reverse is good, and he's fouled. David Kane with 11 on the reverse, and he's going to the free throw line. So Lusinger with numbers that time, and you can imagine that as you take a look at, that nice tip attempt there on the pass. That's an assist Patrick Cleveland will take any day. Well-earned assist. You get the feeling that Coach Reggie Morris stressed to his team at the halftime break that you've got to do something about breaking that press. Being able to handle it. 3-point play gives Lusinger their largest lead of the night, 41-40. Morningside gets it over. Good side, good wing pass, shot blocked. Morningside keeping it alive. Nettles getting tough. And he will earn a trip to the free throw line. So a situation there where it looked like he might have had a held ball call on one of those shot attempts, but instead it leads to the personal foul. And this puts Randy Nettles on the line. Randy Nettles, the junior guard. Two free throws for Nettles. He's got 6. Lusinger with numbers. Kane having the player all over his back, nothing called. D'Angelo Johnson. Russell Westbrook with a look. Into the wrong hands. Kane to the baseline. Omar Lovejoy with a rebound. Matiaki, good no-look pass and a drive and a bucket. No-look pass by Matiaki that time. And Romero is the beneficiary. 6 minutes to go, quarter number 3. Open look. Tip attempt by Kane, no good. Here's a three-pointer by Johnson. And back up and in, Willie Callaway. 43-34. Timeout, Morningside. They want a 20-second timeout. So Morningside coach Carl Franklin taking the time. There's his assistant coach, the one doing the talking, one being very demonstrative. His team down now by 9 points. Reggie Morris on the other end, looking somewhat more calm at this position. And we got to tell you, as you hear the noise here in the background, the pep squad and cheerleaders put on quite a show here at the half. Almost wish we could show it to you, but I guess we don't have the time. But trust us, they did a very good job entertaining the crowd here tonight. And of course, they work just as hard as the players do. Got to be concerned with homework and exams and everything else that goes on in your life when you're in high school. Morningside with the ball, Funaki Matiaki throws it out of bounds. 5:35 to go here in this third quarter. D'Angelo Johnson. Three-point attempt by Kane won't go. Tipped back to him. He'll take a stroll to the hole, won't hit it. Rebound Omar Lovejoy. Matiaki gonna take it to the lane, finger roll up and in. Funaki Matiaki with 4. That time, instead of no looking, looked at the bucket and rolled it in. Good give and go, and a nice layup by D'Angelo Johnson. Worked the play well there with Willie Callaway. Seeing some crisp play offensively in this quarter. Three-pointer, and that's good by Eric Moss. He's got 12 points, and that's the first three-pointer of the night for Morningside. They wanted to. One of their objectives before the ball game was to get more three-point attempts. And look at that. Willie Callaway on the reverse. And as I said, the play is pretty fluid this quarter. Pretty entertaining. Ball tipped out of bounds. And Morningside going to get 3 subs into the ball game. And we'll see if this changes the flow. Looks like they're going to go a little smaller. Omar Lovejoy will check out. Kevin Hibbert will throw it in. It's an into Brandon Gray, one of the new players. And here's a side three-point attempt. Also by Brandon Towns, one of the new players. No good. Matiaki shot is blocked. And he'll be going to the free throw line. Foul charge that time against David Kane. That's his second. Matiaki not able to mark on the first attempt. Lusinger will send Kelsey Bars into the ball game for David Kane. Roll for 2. Bars with the rebound. All stolen. Stolen back. Loose on the floor. Lusinger will have it. Westbrook with it. Under 4 minutes to go now, quarter number 3. Patrick Cleveland on the wing. To Willie Callaway. So Westbrook. Now from the post, follow-up is up and in by Kelsey Bars. Bars has 8 points. 49-39, Lusinger. Kevin Hibbert on the baseline. Is it taken away? Lusinger with numbers. A little hesitation. Dribble and a drive to the bucket by Chris Jackson. Chris Jackson has 7. Kevin Hibbert. Shot stuck to the backboard by Kelsey Bars. Morningside able to get the rebound. Brandon Towns on a drive to the bucket and an offensive foul. Offensive foul charged against Brandon Towns. So Lusinger will get D'Angelo Johnson and Ron Harris into the ball game. 3 minutes to go in the third quarter. That's Ron Harris with the ball. Going to throw it in. And they say he stepped over the line, out of bounds. So a turnover, giving it right back to Morningside, and they'll get Omar Lovejoy into the ball game. Omar Lovejoy and Brandon Gray, 2 biggest players. Three-pointer is up and in by Kevin Hibbert. He's got 8. So 2 3-pointers in this quarter. Hard contact right at center court. Ron Harris. Ron Harris contact with Brandon Gray. Foul on the block charge against Gray. D'Angelo Johnson. Ball almost stolen. His Kelsey Bars with a 3-pointer. Got it. Well, his man came out to try to take the ball, and he had an open look, and he drained it. He's got 11. Shot blocked. Time by Willie Callaway. And he's going to be called for traveling as he tries to come to the front court. She knows the traveling signal. No, that's a cheerleading signal, not the... Actually was the call for traveling. But no, I think they're just working on her cheers. Lovejoy with it. Hibbert behind the 3-point line. Put it to Romero. Matiaki jump pass going to Hibbert. Hibbert, little fake. Matiaki, open look at the 3-pointer. And that's grabbed by Callaway. And he's fouled on the rebound by Lovejoy. Maybe a frustration foul by Omar Lovejoy that time. And take a look at the Morningside assistant coach. That foul actually not on Lovejoy. It's on Thomas Davis. So the assistant coach upset with Thomas Davis for committing a bad foul with 2 minutes to go. Quarter number 3, his team down by 12. Lusinger with the ball. That's Jackson. Floater is good. Chris Jackson got 9 points, 56-42. Wild play, ball thrown away. They try to give it up, and that's the result. You could see that coming. You could see Chris Jackson looking at Kelsey Bars. You knew he was trailing him, and you knew that was going to be the result. You could see they were making eye contact, and that was a design play. Kelsey Bars trailing him, and Chris Jackson rewards him, and it's timeout for Morningside. 13 points now for Kelsey Bars. Give the assist to Chris Jackson. And right about here, he gives him a look, and you know that's the signal, and there's the result. Credit the bucket to Kelsey Bars, but fine play by Chris Jackson on that break. 58-42, full timeout for Morningside. Morningside has yet to win a game. They're 0-12. This is their first Ocean League game, and they're 0-4 in that cross league situation that we tried to explain to you earlier in the ball game. Lusinger is 9-7 overall, 2-2 in cross league, and this is their first Ocean League game. And what was a relatively tight first half has opened up a little bit in this third quarter. And it has been Lusinger pressure that's basically done it. Follow-up attempt by Lovejoy on the miss by Kenwood Romero, no good. And it's a Lusinger foul. So at 1:29 to go, and Lusinger with a 16-point lead, and momentum and their crowd being energized by that last play by Chris Jackson and Kelsey Bars. If you're the Lusinger coach, Reggie Morris, you've got to be wondering if your team can keep this edge right about now. Obviously, that last play and the finishing flush by Kelsey Bars pumped them up. But the game is not over by long shot, and that's the sort of thing a coach knows. So they'll want to keep the intensity and not let Morningside get a chance to get back in this. And Morningside won't get back in if they don't take what is given to them, missing 2 free throws. Callaway with it on the pass off to D'Angelo Johnson. And he tries to throw it to the baseline. But there'll be a foul charge against Kenwood Romero of Morningside. It'll be side out, 1:06 to go. Quarter number 3. Open three-pointer. That's an air ball. Morningside the other way. There's a three that's thrown back. Out of bounds. It'll be losing her ball. So the block by Willie Callaway. Throwing Romero shot back at him and out of bounds to add insult to injury. Now 53 seconds to go. In quarter number 3, losing her with the ball. And a dribble tipped away. Good play there by Kevin Hibbert, and he'll drive and lay it in. So Hibbert taking the dribble away. Now 33 seconds to go. Hibbert trying to do it again. Kelsey Bars between the stripes. 10 seconds on the shot clock, 15 seconds on the quarter clock. Bars on the lane. In and out. Bars gets it back. Tip attempt once, no good. Tip attempt twice, no good. Third time is not a charm. And we've got a foul call. 3.3, 10 seconds to go. It's a Morningside foul. And Lusinger will throw it in from under their basket. They'll have to get it and shoot. And that's what they'll do. And they'll hit. And they will hit. Kelsey Bars, the three-pointer. He's got 16 points. Does it count? Well, check this out. The clock did not move. There were 3.3 seconds to go before the play came in. referee, I believe, is going to say it counts, but they never started the clock. They haven't put the points up yet. It's still 58-44, but they never started the clock. So now the question becomes, if you're Morningside, did he get it off in time? How would you know? How would you have any way of knowing? And I'm sure, well, they're giving him the points. Now I guess there's 1.5 seconds to go. So small consolation if you're Morningside. If you're losing, or you're saying, shouldn't the clock have run out altogether? But nevertheless, 1.1 and 5, 10 seconds to go. That three-pointer by Kelsey Bars will count. And Morningside will get a chance to at least throw it in and chuck one. And a little expressions of weariness on the part of some of the Morningside Monarchs. And I'm sure the clock keeper is being admonished to be very careful. You know, sometimes I think what you got to do is watch the hand of the official. Well, here's what they're going to do. They're going to take the points off, and they're going to do it again. So that's a break for Morningside. It's going to go back to 3.3, 10 seconds to go. The three-pointer is waved off. And instead, what do we have? Kelsey Bars going to the free throw line to shoot 1+1. So maybe, could it be, all along that they called a foul and the clock wasn't supposed to move? So that is the result. And we'll have no way of knowing, but I've got to assume that maybe there was supposed to be a foul. That's the only thing I can assume at this point. And in that case, the clock shouldn't have started. And so all that three-pointer there, action was for naught. But nevertheless, Kelsey Bars on the line, and he makes two. He's got 15, 60-44. And now here's a shot from near half court. That's an air ball by Eric Moss, and that's how quarter number 3 will end. So we have 3 in the books from Lawndale, California. And the score as the last 3 and 3/10 seconds to go get very interesting. Losing early. Now I think we're going to get an explanation from the official as to what happened.
The three-point basket was taken away. The three-point basket was taken away because it was a shot of 1-1. That foul that occurred out there, we took it out of bounds. The table told us too late, so we took the basket away.
Okay, you know what I want you to do? I want you to tell this to the TV audience. We have our referee, Michael Barnes. He's not allowed. I was going to give you the headset and let you do it. But, okay, basically, let's see if we can repeat. Can we get a camera on us over here if you can? Okay. Tell us. They took the three-point play away.
It should have been 1-1.
It should have been 1-1.
We shot the 1-1 and reset the clock back to 3.3.
They took away the 1-1. I'm a little slow. They took away the 1-1, and they should have put it back to 3 seconds. Okay. You get it. Film at 11. What can I tell you? All right. It was very nice of Michael Barnes to come over here and attempt to explain that to us, what happened. And we didn't ask it. That was really very nice, because we would have been confused. I guess I sort of had it a little bit right when I said it had to have probably been a foul situation. But nevertheless, the result is Losinger with the large lead. They had a very successful quarter. They outscored Morningside 23-14 in that quarter, and they lead at the end of 3 by the score of 60-44. So we were actually going to give Michael Barnes a headset, but he said, no, yeah, I guess league rules would prevent him from doing that. And maybe his wife didn't want to see him on TV or something to that effect. But play is underway. Morningside with the ball. And they're going to need to do something in a hurry right here. And toward that end, Randy Nettles with a bucket. He's got 8. Randy Nettles looking a little weary. I think some of the Morningside players could use some of that little break. They could use the break at the quarter and the break while all that confusion was going on. And there's Nettles with it on the steal attempt. And he's going to the free throw line. So maybe that little bit of time off could have served to recharge him, because he was a player I was looking at when I made the comment that it looked like they were a little out of gas, but he looks like he's a little more pumped up now as he goes to the line. And keep in mind that this is a team that feels that they still have a chance, Morningside Monarchs, if they can win all of their league games. So I think they still have a chance at an outside berth at the playoffs in the CIF Southern section. And as their coach, Carl Franklin, said before the ball game, all it takes is for one player to believe it. And that's really all it takes. And that one player can motivate everyone else on the team. 2 free throw misses. D'Angelo Johnson being hawked. Almost lost the ball. As Barnes with it. Not able to hit. Follow-up won't go. And Funaki Matiaki with the rebound. 7 minutes to go now. And there's a shot that's no good. Long attempt down court. It was almost thrown out of the gym on a long pass. And it goes back to Morningside. Well, you're watching Lusinger High School basketball on Lawndale Community Cable, Channel 22, in the city of Lawndale and the city of Hawthorne, where you can see Lusinger, Hawthorne, and yes, Lawndale High School sports as well this year. Lawndale High School, a new addition to our Channel 22 sports schedule. See them all here. Lawndale Community Cable, Channel 22. Morningside ball. Randy Nettles to throw it in. It's an end to Joshua Gordon. Joshua Gordon out of uniform. Playing with a long colored jersey. I guess he left his back at school, or they forgot to bring it, or something to that effect. I think it used to be an automatic technical if a player had the wrong color years ago. Losing with the ball, and there's a stroll to the hole by John Thomas, a junior, getting his first bit of action, and he's got 2 points. Ball loose on the end line. And out of bounds. Here's Kelsey Bars. Kelsey Bars has 15 tonight. Mentioned he had 50 against Venice. Simply unstoppable in that particular contest. Anyway, here's a three-pointer. It's up and no good. Follow-up no good. Little battle of the bodies underneath. Contact. And the call against Lusinger. Well, tonight we are without the services of one Rufus Washington, who for about 15 years has been one of the prime voices of Channel 22 Sports here. And he is away tonight, handling other business, but he hopes to be with us as the season progresses. And of course, it wouldn't be Rufus without his hat. So no hat tonight and no Rufus Washington, but he'll be along in further telecasts. And we mentioned earlier, Scott Goodman, our other broadcaster here, has moved on to bigger and better things. He's with the University of Miami now at college, finishing his college studies, and will do some broadcasting down there, we are sure. Congratulations to Scott Goodman. David Kane with the ball. Kelsey Bars, nice move up and in. Kelsey Bars has 17. Randy Nettles, determination, won't go. Follow up and in by Joshua Gordon. That's his first bucket. 64-50, Lusinger. 5:30 to go, quarter number 4. D'Angelo Johnson, stroll to the hole. He's got 6. 66-50. Nettles again. Matiaki, open look at the 3. Back to Gordon. Brandon Gray. Guarded by John Thomas. Omar Lovejoy out on the wing. Pass is broken up, and Thomas has the ball, losing over the 3-on-2. Thomas going to try to lob it up to Kelsey Bars that time, but that'll be an obvious offensive foul, as there were bodies in the way. Brandon Gray run over, and the offensive foul. So that time it might have been better for John Thomas to just go ahead and shoot. Trying to do the old alley-oop again and not able to work, and he will be subbed out right here with 4:45 to go, quarter number 4. Randy Nettles. He's going to shoot the 3. David Kane with it. Kane up court. Bars has his shot smacked. Smacked by Omar Lovejoy. But that'll be a foul. A 2-shot foul, obviously. May have actually gotten Randy Nettles on the block at that time. And Kelsey Bars on the free throw line for losing her. There's that last play. One out of 2. Brandon Gray with it. Gets a nice return in the corner, not able to connect off the return pass from Eric Moss. Losing her with numbers. Kane from the lane. Barr's not able to finish it off for him. Lovejoy. He's fouled. Omar Lovejoy fouled on the way to the basket. And they've been able to keep Omar Lovejoy rather silent. Head coach Carl Franklin says they need him to be effective. They figure he is their only legitimate big man out there. Done a fine job defensively, but they've kept him off the scoreboard. He's yet to get a field goal. And that was his 4th free throw attempt, and he is now 1 out of 4. So a tough night offensively for the senior. One of those seniors who wants to do something here in his senior year, would like to make it to the postseason, but having a tough time. Russell Westbrook not able to hit. Brandon Gray with a pass up court to Gordon. Gordon for 3. They keep it alive. Kelsey Bars sticks it to the backboard. Bars out of the backcourt. Still has a dribble. 3-pointer by Cleveland. 3:40 now to go in the game. Joshua Gordon with a 3. Bars on the rebound. 67-50. Favor of losing her. D'Angelo Johnson. Kane for 3, got it. David Kane with 15. And it's now a 20-point losing her lead. Gordon with a 3, and he's able to hit. Joshua Gordon. 2:57 to go now. Angelo Johnson. All thrown away, trying to find Bars. Gordon going to take it all the way. Gets the rebound back. Now he's going to shoot the 3. Doesn't have it. David Kane with the rebound. And it'll be a timeout. 20-second timeout. Clock stops. Approaching 2 minutes to go in the ball game, and losing our Olympians appearing to have this one pretty much in hand. 70-53. This is the first Ocean League ball game, and head coach Reggie Morris for the losing our Olympians seems to think that his team should be able to contend in that Ocean League. Some of the other tougher teams they'll face in league play. And I wouldn't call it necessarily a rebuilding program, but I guess a different emphasis, whereas last season the emphasis was on Dorrell Wright. If this season is to be anywhere as long as last season was for losing Olympians, Kelsey Bars will have to be a factor. And it looks like Losinger will also, based on tonight's performance, have to do something with handling full court pressure. There's a turnaround shot, no good by Willie Calloway. 2:12 to go. A lot of questions to be answered. This Losinger Olympians team, not quite as solid as last season's was in a couple of ways. But it appears that they will be competitive and might have a shot at postseason. Brandon Towns to the free throw line. As you look at the Morningside Monarchs, you do have to admire their effort in the first half, but not able to really find much of anything. Their coach, Carl Franklin, asking him who's the point guard. He said he'd still like to find that out. 70-54. Losinger with the lead, and apparently will have the game. 2 minutes to go. David Kane, Ron Harris. They're in no hurry now. Kane down the lane, 4-2. Might be saying that quite a bit this season. 1:40 to go now. Matiaki on the pass off and the steal. And there'll be a missed dunk attempt that time by Ron Harris. Not able to get up quite high enough. Three-pointer coming the other way, air ball. Darrell Harrison on the miss. Now a little wild play. Bodies flying. And the gymnasium in a little bit of laughter, and the Losinger bench as well. They're just ripped at the sides over Ron Harris not being able to complete that dunk. Those are the Morningside cheerleaders. Ron Harris wanting to pull the shirt over him and hide. Nothing to be ashamed about. Just should have laid it up, that's all. When you got an 18-point lead, you can laugh at things. He wants to hang himself, it looks like. It's not that serious. Brandon Towns on the free throw line. And very rarely do you get an opportunity to get that wide open. And of course, I mean, the old conservative way is you lay it in, that way you're guaranteed the two. Of course, there were years, I guess from the mid-60s to the mid-70s, where in college and at the high school level you could not dunk. And that's what they call the Lou Alcindor negation rule. For those of you a little too young to know who Lou Alcindor is, I'll tell you in a moment. If the cheerleaders could get out of my way here, I could see who scored the last bucket. 1:07 to go. 74-55. Losinger with the ball. They've got to lose it in the front court. 52 seconds to go. Here's the three-pointer. No good. 46 seconds to go now. Well, we're talking Lou Alcindor, for those of you too young to remember, became Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And I think even if you were not around during his playing days, you definitely know who Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is. There's Kane with it on the miss. He was such a threat during his days in high school and in college that they outlawed the dunk. I know some of our younger listeners might find that hard to believe, that there was a time for about 10 years when you could not dunk. But yes, during the Bill Walton era at UCLA, he would have to just drop it in. Wasn't allowed to slam it. Under 10 seconds to go now. Losinger will just run it off. Clock will wind down, and the Losinger Olympians are going to have win number 10 on the season, and they've got their first Ocean League win. So it's all over here at the Olympian Fieldhouse. And the Lusinger Olympians come out on top by 19 points, 74-55. Well, Morningside Monarchs dropping to 0-13. They're now 0-1 in Ocean League. Lusinger 10-7 overall and 1-0 in league play. Well, it started out a little tight this evening, but it opened up in the second half for the most part, particularly that fourth quarter. Lusinger Olympians paced tonight by Kelsey Bars with his 18 points. He was the high scorer for the Lusinger Olympians, and that was basically the difference. In the first half, the Morningside Monarchs, a team that had not won all year, displaying a lot of energy indeed, and the energy was enabled them to stay in the ball game. It was tied at the quarter, and oh, that's great. Walk right through the shot, folks. These are high school kids. They don't know any better. What can I tell you? What, right then, come on, right through the shot. Would you do that to the folks on the Today Show in New York? You wouldn't do that, would you? Okay. I started to say before the high schoolers walk through my. What? We need security guards. No, we don't really need security. They're a little too young to know what they're doing. Okay. Basically, as I started to say, it was a tight ball game. It was 15-15 at the quarter break, and players were tough. Morningside was playing a very tough ball game. They had a lot of energy, a lot of hustle at that point. It was 37-30 at the half, but basically it was an energized performance in the third quarter by the Lusinger Olympians that enabled them to open up. They were able to handle that press, which they weren't handling in the first half. They were able to gain a lot of energy, it appeared. And when you look at the fine play of someone like Kelsey Bars, who came on, had a couple of highlights tonight, he had 18 points. Lusinger settled down, and they were able to take control of the ball game, and thus they get their first league win and their 10th win on the year. So our final score here tonight, Lusinger Olympians by 19. They win by a final of 74-55. And we'd like to remind you to stay tuned here to Lawndale Community Cable Channel 22. We'll be having lots more sports for you. Our next ball game, I believe, will be a Hawthorne ball game. So until next time, this is Dave Marks speaking for everyone at Lawndale Community Cable Channel 22, saying so long. We'll see you next time.